Hey. Are you looking to learn AWS at this point of time? AWS is one of the most important skills that you can learn to enhance your career profile and become a better software engineer. So you need to ensure that you do not make few certain mistakes that will derail your efforts in learning AWS. So jumping on, let's go to the first mistake. First mistake is having no clear objective of learning AWS. So if I ask somebody, or if somebody is saying that they want to learn AWS, and if you ask the question why, some of the answers that I get is like becoming a cloud engineer, becoming a DevOps engineer, becoming an SRE. That is not a clear objective of learning AWS. Any of these profiles that people are talking about, they do not exist on their own. Let me explain when I say they do not exist on their own. Learning AWS is not the primary skill of any of these roles. Yes, you need to learn AWS, but apart from that, there are many other things that you need to learn. For example, if you are looking to become a DevOps engineer, you need to know how to work with Linux operating system. You need to know about CI/CD. You need to learn so many other things. The second big mistake that you do with AWS services is not playing with AWS services. Why you're not trying to get your hands dirty. You don't spend time learning about console, navigating through the console, accessing different services. And that brings me to the second point out there is about interaction between different services. Now, when you're going to work on a job, you're not going to work in most cases on single service. You're going to work in a scenario where will be interacting with multiple services. You might be working with, say, a DynamoDB and a Lambda, and you will need to know a little bit of IAM, rows, and so on and so forth. So until you understand how these services work together throughout different patterns, you'll not be able to work on a real-time job. Going to the last mistake that we have is doing AWS services. Now, this is a little bit controversial because most people who get on the journey of AWS services, they go and learn certification. But there are reasons for it, which is why it's not an ideal thing to do. So one of the key thing is like, as part of the certification, you are required to learn like host of different services, like around 20, 30 services. But on any job, what would happen is like you would not use more than like 3 to 5 services at any point of time. So spending time learning all those services is really a waste of time because eventually you're not going to use those services that you're learning about in your real world. So what you have to do is kind of focus on key services that you can work with. The second aspect is like, because you're doing a certification, you have to do a lot of practice quizzes to clear the certification. Now, what that means is you're doing practice quizzes and you're understanding different concepts. But what that takes away from you is the time spent on doing the hands-on on AWS. And without hands-on, as I mentioned in previous point, you'll not understand what are the pitfalls, you won't understand how they service interact with each other. And similarly, you'll not understand how you can solve a business problem using those AWS services. So that's it. Those are the three big mistakes that most beginners make when they start learning AWS. Thank you. Bye.